Yo, I'm Gilchrist, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I've wanted to talk about on my YouTube channel for 4 years. It's probably, it's been a long time coming, especially seeing as I do like drug experience videos. It's kind of a part of my life which I've been trying to like push out and forget about, which I guess kind of worked, but I'll get more into that towards the end. Yeah, so this is literally, I've never had to make a video this hard like ever. So this story is from the time of New Year 2013 all the way until the end of 2013. Which I don't know if many of you know this, that was actually like the come up of my YouTube channel. Like that was like when I first started gaining like any traction like whatsoever in like a big number. And I was heavily in the vlogging scene. You know, I was hanging out with like all of what are now some of the biggest vloggers in the UK. And oh man, so I'm gonna spark this joint just so I can talk about this a little bit easier, innit? So basically, at this point in my life, I was quite young and I had only ever smoked weed before. Actually, I think I'd done MDMA once at that point. But I may not have. That may have come later. But I'm pretty sure I'd like only smoked weed at that point. That's like all I did. There was a time when I remember this so vividly. Like, I was gonna go get some weed and I called one of my friends like, oh, where can I get some weed in London? And they're just like, oh, just go down Camden, like you'll find somebody to like buy some weed. And like when I'm going down Camden, I'm just like having a look in some of the bong shops and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah. And then while I'm looking at some of these bongs and stuff, while trying to also figure out where the fuck I can buy some weed, this guy who owns the shop comes over and he's like, oh, you looking for some smoke? And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for some smoke, like, I'm looking for some weed and stuff. And he was like, oh, well, we got this. And like, passed me this bag, and like, you know, I just, like me being young and stuff, I just fucking give him some money, and I take this bag, and I can walk out the shop, and I look at like what's in my hand, and it's just like legal high packet, like spice. Like some people know this as like spice, some people know this as like synthetic cannabinoids, some people know this as like a range of different things. I actually walked back into the store and I like gave it back to him, and I was like, this isn't weed, this is what you're trying to sell to me, like this isn't weed. And he was like, no. Like it's fucking just like the same, innit? It's the same. And I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, it's like, look, just go off and smoke it. I'm like, well, fuck, and I leave. And I come back and I go to my friend's house. We smoke a joint of this fucking shit. And it was like the weirdest fucking experience. Like, I just remember like, my friend tried to pass me like a glass of milk from the kitchen. And as he passes me this glass of milk, I grab it and I feel like I'm getting taller to the point where I feel like I'm like hitting the ceiling. Like I feel like I've just grown like 1,000,000 feet, and I'm like, how fuck this is fuck shit, right? And I was basically like tripping my nut off, and I was like, damn, this is like some crazy shit. And it actually, like, on that first stuff that I ever tried, it actually tasted like fucking quite nice. And I remember, obviously, because I was young, I couldn't like find dealers so easy. Like a lot of dealers didn't like selling to young people and stuff, and like I didn't smoke like too often. Like I only smoked like weed on the weekends and stuff. So instead, I just ended up picking up that. Like I don't know what my fucking thought process was, but like I don't know, I guess on that first bit I quite enjoyed it, and I ended up just buying that. And that was like the start of this whole fucking like year of just like straight up like addiction in it. Like it feels weird to like, I've only spoken about it with like some of my closest friends where I've had proper conversations with them, and I'm actually quite interested to know how many YouTubers who I used to hang out with are watching this video, watching me explain how I felt during this period of time. So this was the weird thing, right? Because I was on this come up, and so I haven't really explained this properly. So this drug is basically, this first one was JWH018. And this is something that's just sprayed on a plant which was trying to mimic THC, and it didn't come out anything like it, like super addictive, like bad for your health. And then that got banned, and then even worse ones started coming out. So when these even worse ones started coming out, I started having them as well, thinking that it was the same as this last one, and that got me really like addicted and hooked to this stuff. And it was to the point where I just couldn't go without it. And it was a very odd period of time. So But the weird thing is because my YouTube was like very much on the come up at the time, and I was doing well for myself. Like this was actually during the period of time when none of my YouTube comments would say like, oh, do you do drugs and like stuff like this? Like the people didn't even know I smoked weed then. And like now I get comments of people thinking I do like, you know, all these hardcore drugs. I just smoke weed, innit? Well, I'll get onto that in a bit. But nobody helped me. Nobody like reached out and tried to sort of help. Because I remember like some of the biggest YouTubers like in the vlogging scene at the moment, I've smoked this stuff with, or done some of these other like, I would do synthetic pills, like I would do like anything I would get my hands on at the time, to the point where I was on drugs like every day of my life for like 2013, and it's fucking weird, right? Like that's a weird thought, and I just also think it's weird when I look back on it, like nobody ever sort of like reached out and was like, Drew, this is fucking you up. Because at the time, like, I guess people saw that as a liability, because because I was on the come up and stuff, and like, you know, I was gaining subscribers and stuff, like, if I continued and nobody ever found out and I'd been fine, you know, people could have used that for their own advantage, and you know, if they told me and then I had stopped doing YouTube and stuff, then that's not like, I don't know, it's this weird thought in my head, because nobody actually like reached out and tried to help. I do know, like, I definitely had a couple conversations with people about it, but like, because I was quite articulate with everything that I was saying to people, it kind of threw them off the fact that I was actually like really in a bad space. And I mean, I don't even know if everyone I know a lot of people knew to the extent I was doing it, because I know when I went out to California and I spoke to a lot of people after I cleaned myself up, like that was like a year after I cleaned myself up, people were saying that they thought I was gonna die. Like people thought I was gonna go off the rails and they were gonna see a news report of like, you know, this small YouTuber has fucking died. Like, which when I think about it, like the amount of stuff that I was doing like every day, and the amount of deaths I see come from this stuff now, I wonder how I didn't die. Like I wonder how I'm still alive on this planet, innit? But you would think being surrounded by like all of these people who try and, you know, say like, oh yeah, we want to make sure everyone's doing okay all the time, we want to be happy and put on that face. You would think at least one person would have sort of reached out to me and been like, Drew, I really want to sort of help, and I don't think you should be doing this, and explain all this, the ramifications, but just never really happened. It never sunk into my mind. So let's go on to when I stopped. Like I don't want to go into too much detail about when I was doing it, because it brings back very dark thoughts in my mind. It got to the point when I almost felt like my health had gotten really bad. Like I was being sick every time I was doing the drugs. Like I was basically sort of feeling like a zombie, and it was fucking me up. And that was every time I would take a hit, I would throw up. Like that was when it clicked in my mind, like, why am I how can I do this? Like, you know, I'm so fucking addicted to this fucking thing that I throw up every time I fucking do it, and I hate the feeling of it, and I can't stand it, but I have to do it. And the way I stopped is very fucking weird. I've never heard of anyone stopping drugs this way. Maybe it is a thing. Like I don't fucking know. Like, because I don't know if you know this, but like these drugs are like considered, like they can be as addictive and deadly as heroin. Like it's fucking crazy. Like, and I was just a young kid. Like, I didn't know shit. Like this was 4 years ago now. Yeah, and so basically what I did was I kept a little bit. Because every time I didn't have any, I felt like I needed to buy more, and I needed to have it. I needed to have it, and I would get like sick if I didn't have it, and it would fuck me up. And then I didn't have, and then what I did was I just kept some. I kept some like a little bit in the bottom of a bag, and just didn't have it. And for some reason, I was so ill for like 4 days. Like there was a period of time when I was just like detoxing, and I was not good. At the end of 2013, and I was very sick for like a week. But for some reason, just having that little bit in that bag, like there, knowing I could have it if I really, like, you know, if I felt like I was gonna die because I didn't have it, that made me able to quit. And then I actually ended up keeping that thing in that bag. Even after the week I felt better, like I kept that thing in that bag for like a month, maybe 2 months. maybe longer than that, maybe like 3-4 months. Yeah, and then so at that point I stopped doing all drugs. I think I occasionally would have like a glass of wine. Like, you know, if I was out and it was like a special occasion, I would have like a glass of wine or something. Apart from that, I stopped all recreational drugs after that point, because I mean, during that point, bearing in mind, so I was doing those drugs I was saying, those legal highs, like every day, like smoking those every day. I was also doing synthetic pills. I was doing MDMA. I was doing MCAT. Who knows what some of this stuff was like cut with? Who knows what else I was doing? And like, you know, that's just the start of the list. Like, you know, there's like AMT. Like I literally couldn't begin to explain how much shit I was on, and I don't understand how I didn't just die. Like, that's fucking quite crazy. Yeah, and it wasn't until I didn't start smoking weed again until when I moved out into my new apartment. One of my friends from the US was telling me that cannabis could really help with some of the like medical ailments that I needed, and I was on prescription medication like beta blockers and stuff like that, and it was really fucking me up mentally, and being able to smoke made me come off those, but not entirely. And then it was when I went out to California and like I actually moved out there in 2015, when I got my medical card, I stopped being able to take my prescription medication, and I was able to just smoke cannabis as my medicine. And it wasn't until like the end of 2015, the beginning of 2016, did I get the tumor, which I would then end up using cannabis, like cannabis oil, to be able to treat that. Yeah, it's been weird. And I would say to a lot of people, I know there will probably be a lot of people who are watching this right now, trying to thinking to themselves, like, what were you thinking during that whole year? Like, what was going on in your mind? And like, I was tripping and like hallucinating, and it was fun for like the first couple months to like maybe even the first half of the year. And then I think the chemicals probably changed. But then who knows what could have happened. But then it went very downhill, and I wish somebody had come to me and just had explained to me, you know, what they had seen. Because I know there were tons of people who are probably watching this right now who definitely could have sort of stepped in and said something. But I know I definitely had some nice conversations with my mum about it towards the very end. And maybe like just after it all happened, like I actually had some deep conversations with her, and it made me cry, and it was just so emotional, and it was just fucking weird. And it's just odd to think that it's been 4 years since I was just on these fucking heavy drugs, and it got to the point where my friends didn't help me, but by the end of the year they abandoned me and wouldn't let me like hang out with them, or wouldn't let me try and give some motivation in my life that would possibly help stop what I was putting myself through. And now everyone just sort of abandoned me, and I got told by a couple people, yeah, I said I got told by a couple people that they thought I was just gonna die. And fucking look at this bitch. I have fucking one of these fucking YouTube plaques in it, which I've made into a bong. I don't know. Right, that's it from me. Thanks for watching this fucking weird video. I've been meaning to make this for a long time. I'm sorry if this, like, I know this also must be really weird, because if you look at my videos from 2013, like, you really wouldn't be able to tell that I was fucking on drugs, like, even when I was recording the videos. But, you know, like, it's what, like, and people think now that I do drugs and shit, and I just think, I don't know. Right, subscribe to my channel, comment if you've had any, like, experiences like this in the past, and I thought of it as a massive mental battle at the beginning. Then towards the end, it was like a health battle. That's how I would sum up my experience. But okay, and who knows where I would have been if I hadn't done all that? Like, maybe I would be one of the biggest vloggers in the UK. Like, fucking who knows, innit? Just to let you know, I'm going on Shot From The Point. It's a live stream by Tommy C. I'm gonna be on that tonight at 8 PM UK time. I really hope I get this video up before fucking 8 PM. I'm gonna be stressing about that, just like trying as hard as I fucking can. The link for that will be in the description. I'm sure we'll be able to dedicate like 15-20 minutes to answering some questions that you may have for this video. So yeah, make sure you check that out, and subscribe to my channel, hit the fucking like button. That's Everything's all gravy. Alright, in a bit. Peace.
Ditches, rappers, bitches. Way yo talking on Twitter, little boy, I can't tell the difference. Purple urban, my swisher. Yellow, I just my witness. Pull up bitches so vicious, that's 7 digits the mission. Listen, 60 FPS, these other rappers moving slow.